Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. There's no salvation here. Coveting thy neighbor is only human, after all.
I do enjoy a good montage. Hey everybody, this is Steerpike, bringing you some video of Dark Souls now that the Prepare to Die edition has made it possible for me to capture my own. Think of this as a way to endure, 6 whatever minutes of my rambling and get basically the same effect as if you'd read all 39,000 words of the Dark Souls diaries, which are finally finished in this article at long last. I don't mean this video as a review or impressions of the extra content in the Prepare to Die edition. Frankly, I haven't gotten to it yet. It's very deep in the game. I have other commitments. It could be a couple weeks before I reach it, and I kind of wanted to get this thing out to you guys. Instead, let's talk about this in terms of the PC version and Dark Souls in general rather than the new content. From Software made Dark Souls. For some strange reason, they chose to do the PC port themselves rather than farm it out. This studio has zero experience with Windows development, and my god, it shows. Technically, the game, yes, it runs fine, but everything about it screams port. Don't bother trying to play if you mean to use a mouse and keyboard. Control customization is extremely limited. The mouse cursor isn't bound to the game window, it just feels incredibly clunky. Once you plug in a 360 controller, though, it plays pretty much like its console forebear. And it apparently took a friendly hacker about 23 minutes to create a patch that increased the game's maximum resolution beyond 1280 by 720 and turned on a bunch of graphic effects available only on the PC. From Software struggled with the same thing for over a year before declaring it impossible. You definitely want this patch, and the developer is regularly updating it. That leads me to another main issue with the PC version. Dark Souls requires Microsoft's Games for Windows Live service to run multiplayer and to manage your save games. Games for Windows Live is among the most hated pieces of middleware in this business. More and more it looks like Microsoft intentionally released a broken piece of tech to damage PC gaming and steer gamers toward the Xbox. Dark Souls is maybe the bleakest and most nihilistic game I've ever played. The more you understand about its story, the more depressing it becomes. There's not a lot of light or joy here. It's set in the kingdom of Lordran, the land of the gods, where the flow of time is distorted because of a long-ago curse. It's impossible to tell when things happened, and the whole place has the structure of a very bad dream. Your character is a human being who carries a symbol called the Dark Sign. Humans have been turning up with this. People branded with the Dark Sign can't die, but they're also going hollow, growing less and less human. Hollows are mindless undead that attack everything in sight, so people with the Dark Sign are rounded up and herded to this asylum in the far north. Your character escapes, and you find yourself in Lordran. Beyond that, it's up to you. I can see why it would make sense to assume that Dark Souls doesn't have much story beyond that, because nobody tells you anything, and the pieces of fiction you get are disconnected and out of order, but the truth is that Dark Souls is one of the most complicated and most original pieces of fantasy fiction I've ever seen. You just have to pay attention to the descriptions of items in your inventory, to the bits of lore that populate loading screens, to what characters say to you, even to things like paintings on the walls of houses. The story is there and it makes sense, but it won't hand itself over to you. If you mean to understand it, you need to find all the pieces and put them together yourself. I can tell you, it's hard and it's frustrating, but it is worth it. Now, one of the key points about Dark Souls is that it's hard. That's true. The gameplay itself is very challenging. There's no pause button for crying out loud, no manual saving, but really it's the penalty for failure that makes this game so tough. Get used to the idea of being frustrated and nearly broken by the way the game treats you, and you will get better. Actually, almost anyone can beat this game if they commit themselves to beating it. It's been a long time since a game has fascinated me as much as Dark Souls has. Even its predecessor, Demon's Souls, which I did love, didn't have quite the same power over me. The incredibly bleak story and worldview, the outstanding art direction and design, the unique application of multiplayer, it all resulted in a game experience unlike anything else out there. And now we have a PC version. Sure, I wish they'd optimized it for the platform, especially in the controls department, but what they gave us is entirely serviceable if you're a dedicated PC gamer who happens to have a 360 controller on hand. This game is something no one should miss. It's not for everybody. It's brutal, it's miserable, it's hard, unforgiving. It will break you if you let it, but it's also brilliant and engaging. It calls to you. If Dark Souls does it for you when you're not playing, you will be thinking about playing. When you finish, all you'll want to do is play again. You don't see a lot of games out there like that, and so I think we need to call them out when they appear. Dark Souls is worth everyone's time. If you don't want to play it, at least find a fan of it who's willing to lecture you for several hours, as I have. Otherwise, get Dark Souls and prepare to die.